Hi, this is Bob with Whole Earth Harvest. We have now moved into our fruiting rooms where we last time showed you in the incubation room the process of the Shiitake mycelium growing through the sawdust and beginning the colonization and finally completely colonized the block. It binds together all of the nutrients and the sawdust that we use and forms its own unified block that's all knitted together by the mycelium itself. I'll even show you what it looks like on the inside. We can break open a block here and you can see the inside has a heavy layer of the mycelium on the outside and it's all throughout. Now I'll put this back together and stand it up and it'll actually grow back together. It will grow itself back together. And I'll put it here in such a way that that happens. Last time I didn't need to wear the gloves and the hairnet because we are in the area where the mushrooms are not actually fruiting yet. This is what we call our fruiting room, and this is the very beginning stages of the mushrooms fruiting from the blocks. And these, what you see on these blocks here, are known as pins. We call them pins. And so the block begins to pin, and there's some little ones that are still starting, growing around here. They start out as like a little bump with a little black dot, and they grow larger and larger all the way around on the block. And these will all turn into mushrooms. They pin and start growing. And the mycelium primordia that's growing underneath just forms, and then it puts out mushroom pins. We set this room temperature colder, and we have it very moist in here. It's not dry and warm. It's moist and cooler, more in the mid-60s range is where we like to run that. We get up into the upper 60s as well. So if you're growing stuff at home, a cooler area in your home, let's say by the floor or near a cool room or a basement, a garage, anything like that also helps to keep them cooler. But they don't need to be. They'll grow just fine at 70 degrees. In any event, these are the pins growing on the blocks. And we like to see somewhere in the neighborhood of about 30 to give us the right quantity of mushrooms, the right size of the mushrooms. And we have in this room a little over 5,000 of these blocks growing per week. So we do quite a volume for the commercial business as well. And with that, we're going to then move to the next fruiting room where the mushrooms are more developed. And for that matter, we've even been harvesting, and a lot of the mushrooms are already harvested. So we'll move over there. Until we get to that room, farewell. So here we are in the fruiting room that has been in here. These blocks have been in here a week longer than the room we were just at. So as I was mentioning over there, a lot of these mushroom blocks have already been harvested, partially harvested. We harvest over a period of about a week from the time we first start to harvest, and then it's about a week till we finished harvesting everything in the room approximately. There's some stragglers that come along after that, but for the most part it's about a week. And what we have here are mushroom blocks that some, like I say, have already been harvested. Here's one that's basically been completely, it was a fast block. It fruited very quickly. Every one of these spots here that you see was a mushroom that was harvested, all cut off. We cut them with a very sharp knife into our baskets. We wear gloves, like I said, and hair nets to keep from anything getting contaminated into the food. Everything else here is all natural, organic. So here we have a block that has good development of mushrooms pretty much all the way around. There's some more pins still coming, and there's varying sizes to those. And what we do is we let them grow. This room was harvested this morning, so there's not very much that are developed enough to harvest right now. We usually harvest about once a day. If it gets a little warmer in here, we might have to harvest twice a day. They grow really fast. An example of what we harvest would be we're looking for the mushrooms to open up on the bottom like this. So here would be a perfect shaped mushroom on the top that's nice and round. You can see it's already opening and the veil is opened, and there's this nice feathered look. That feathering, some people have asked, how do we get rid of that? Well, you don't want to. That means that you get the very highest, freshest quality. That's a really good quality shiitake when it has that feathered look to the outside of it. You don't see them that way in the stores very often. They get handled a lot. But that's a thing. If you're harvesting at home, you are going to want to look for them to be like this. Some people let them open up a lot more. Sometimes they'll shoot their spores out, and then you have this white spore dust to deal with. So we like to harvest them like this. It also gives them better shelf life. They're not going to gain that much more weight when they completely open up. I think the flavor quality and all the nutrients are best with everything in it. So we try to cut these ones out. You can take scissors or a knife and just nip out the one that's ready, leave the other ones behind, and then set it back in your grow kit if you're doing a grow kit, or in our case, just back on the racks. We have another block that has got a couple that are ready and all these other ones that have been harvested. And we put them in the room for fruiting, and from the time we put them in, open them out of the bags and put them in the room till they are, the pins are showing, which is what you saw in the other room we were just at. It's about a week, I think it is. No, that's less than a week. We put those in on a Friday. So this is Wednesday. It's been 5 days. So we went from taking it out of the bag with nothing on it to those pins in 5 days, and this is another 7 days after that. And what will happen is we change the temperatures up and down in this room. There'll be mushrooms after mushrooms. A block that doesn't have a whole lot on it here, but nice, really big, beautiful mushrooms. Later on, we'll produce more and more and more mushrooms over the next 10 days or so. So we fruit in here for about 3 weeks, and that's when they're finished fruiting. And then at that point, you can rehydrate those blocks, let them rest a little bit, put some water on them, soak them, and rehydrate them and get them to fruit again. We use most of these blocks, about half of them, we regrind it back into our mix, which adds nutrients and moistures and some other things like that there. But we wanted to show you the mushrooms growing right out of the blocks, just like you would get in a grow kit at home. And we just wanted to give you an idea what that looks like on a large commercial scale. So there you go. Whole Earth Harvest Shiitake Growing Room. Thank you very much.